Hip Hop since 1987, live in ATL, and I'm here with the one and only V12 The Hitman, super producer, straight down here in Atlanta. We appreciate you taking out the time of your busy schedule to get with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna hop right into this interview right now.
Definitely.
I can tell by the mystique of your music that you don't seem like you're originally from the South. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, man. I've been down here for about 6 years, Motor City, Just the ambience, and I'm melodic, so it all just meshes into one, and being down here added a dimension to my music. So it really helped me expand me, musically.
Okay.
And definitely.
Do you feel as though you being from that area, how it kind of transcends into your music now? Did your upbringing help you to, create the music and hear the sounds that you hear now when you're making your song?
Oh, hell yeah, definitely. I know, coming up, I really listened to a whole lot of old school music. I still got stacks of vinyl. I got a bookcase. You supposed to put books and shit on there, but I just put vinyl on that shit.
Okay.
So it's rows of vinyl in my crib. But yeah, my mother was real heavy in the church. My grandmother's real heavy in the church, and my mother's side of the family is very musical. They sing all the time. You might catch me singing, or when I came in here, I was just uttering songs out, and I just got full of energy. So I'm always full of music. So, and I listen to different genres of music anyway too. So all of it is a collective.
Not being originally from down south or the Atlanta area, how did you link up with the affiliates?
Well, basically, I had a mutual friend of DJ Dramas and DJ Senses. I came down here, and I would come around, and I would submit music, and I would just submit beats, here you go, and it was just in stride, in moderation, though. It wasn't overhaul, how people just give 60 beats on the CD. I'd get, say, 5 and 10. So after a minute, I used to commute back and forth from Augusta, because that's where some of my family is. I used to commute back and forth here, I would stay here on weekends, and then it just kind of turned into, we need a place to sleep. So being on my grind and shit, they said cool. So they said, here, sleep in the studio. So I stayed in the studio for 3 months, learned Pro Tools. That translated into me actually getting into radio more. So I started producing our show, which is on Shade 45, called Streets is Watching. So I'm the actual board operator of that show, and I've been doing that for about 5 years. And then after learning Pro Tools, I started engineering the Gangsta Grills mixtapes. So every Gangsta Grills mixtape from 2009 on in, I've engineered them. So from then on, the production pushed in, and then started doing albums, engineering albums, and getting placements, and here you have it.
That's real big. Just learned something right there. Now you know who's the man behind all the Gangsta Girls that you listen to and whatnot. I gotta ask you gave mention of Fruity Loops a moment ago.
Yeah.
What instruments or what programs do you use besides Fruity Loops, or if it's only Fruity Loops when you're making your music?
With me, it's really an area of what's available to me. I can use FL Studio. I actually started using FL Studio when I was 13, so I've been in it for 13 years. So it's just not a fad to me. This is what I started with. So everybody jumping on FL Studio like they've been using it, I have been using it for years. So this is part of me. FL Studio, I just jumped into Ableton Live, which is pretty dope. I tried Reason out, but just mainly Ableton Live and FL Studio.
Ableton Live.
And I've been collecting drums for years, so I sample drums, I create drums, and it's been a collective of all types of sounds. And my sound myself, I try to mesh shit to make it to the point where you really can't duplicate my sound. I've seen remakes of my beats on YouTube, and a lot of them really can't match it, which makes me feel better. But I'm humbled at the same time that people want to try to recreate what I've done, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
V12, where did you get the name V12 The Hitman?
I'm a big car enthusiast.
Okay.
I get that from my father's side. I've been working on cars and knowing the ins and outs of the car, engine-wise, cold air intakes, all types of shit. And the V12 is one of the highest grade engines, so I kind of took that. It kind of had a snap to it. And the Hitman, I'm a big video gamer too. And the gamer tag V12 The Hitman on Xbox to fly. But yeah, I'm a big gamer, and the Hitman series, I love that game, so it just kind of meshed all together, and I make hits.
I think that's kind of funny, the V12 AMG cars and V12.
You know, and it's funny the way life works is I didn't even think about that until everything put together, and I kind of actually put it in perspective too. Like, damn, ain't this a bit?
That was crazy. I was doing research on you a few days ago and whatnot, and I kind of noticed that. I said, oh, that's very interesting, very interesting. Now you've done a lot of work for a lot of big acts, Rick Ross, Chris Brown, the list goes on and on and on. Are there any artists out there you have not had the pleasure of working with who you would love to still work with?
What I would say to you is a couple of those acts that I would like to work with, I'm actually working with it right now, but I keep a lot of it under wraps. But the biggest act, which has been like on my bucket list, of course, which is probably everybody's, is Jay-Z.
Okay.
You know, and another one, I'm kind of stepping into the light of EDM trap.
Okay.
I wanna do a beat with Skrillex and Bauer. You know, and also on the pop side, I do want to work with Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, why him?
I think with Justin, he's at a point where he's growing up, you know, and he doesn't, you know, a lot of his appeal was to younger crowds. You know, he's turned into like this badass, just spit into somebody's face the other day, his neighbor. So I feel like he has a chance to either break the threshold of where he was to be where he is and create himself, kind of like how Justin Timberlake transcended, you know, and that's another person I want to work with, Justin Timberlake. But I feel like he's at a point where he can either go left or right, you know, and I want to be there when he goes the right way and be a part of that success.
That's very interesting. I can respect that and your motive for why you want to work with him.
Yeah.
Like, see, it is kind of like Justin Timberlake when he transformed from kind of that boy group to being a boy to being a man and standing on your own.
And he's still relevant. He left R&B for about 2 years and did movies. He came back and didn't he just go platinum?
Damn near in a
Now
week.
you see what I'm saying? Now you see what I'm saying? Exactly.
And he's expecting to drop another album later on this year, so who knows what sales will be like on that. So you still have opportunity. You might be able to get some music over to him.
Music's never gonna die. You know, it only transforms and it goes into a cycle. You know, and it's interesting that I say that because I feel like music right now, with Kendrick Lamar going gold in 2 months, like it's going back to the, let's say, Blueprint 1 era. You know, when the Blueprint 1 came out, I was in high school, and I was so excited to skip lunch to go get that CD when it dropped. And you know, I'm real adamant about reading credits and see what production credits, who executive produced, who engineered everything. So that's where I gained my knowledge, and that's my form of studying. So like, that made me feel like that. Getting that album made me feel like I was going to get the Blueprint 1, because Dre is behind it first and foremost, and his intelligence on putting projects together is crazy.
Phenomenal.
It's like watching a movie and you want to listen to every track from the beginning skits to the end skits, like what's gonna happen next, you know. And I wanted to see the breakdown on how all that came together, because it came together so beautifully, you know. And that's what makes me appreciate music. Like when it can make me listen to from track 1 to track 12 or 1 to 17, and the last album before that was Common's album B. That made me feel like that. So it made me feel joyous about music again. So I just feel like real good about the space of music right now.
I'm glad you gave mention to that, talking about, you know, when the Blueprint originally came out, you having to rush to a store to actually buy the CD. Compared to nowadays, we can just go on your computer and download, you know, hit the button and download. Do you feel as though the era we're living in, the internet era, is hurting the music business or is helping the music business?
I personally think like it's helping the music business, because at the same time I think the industry right now is more single driven than album driven, you know. And a lot of marketing comes from the internet, you know, because right now I could do a beat or do a song with X artists and leak it out, and that can build anticipation for an album. Now if your music is consistent, or if you have a product, regardless of what type of product it is, if you have a solid fan base and you have a great product, people are going to buy into it. Once again, I go back to the Kendrick Lamar reference. We still have the internet era, we still can use torrents to download his album, but he still had a gold successful album because of his fan base, you know. And because of that, I think it's content driven and it's single driven. You know, he didn't have a big wow, crazy single, but Swimming Pools of Poetic Justice did justice because of the actual song itself. You know, Swimming Pools doesn't have anything. It's like in a separate circle than the whole Kendrick Lamar album. You feel what I'm saying? We got Shireen.
That was his commercial attempt.
Right. You feel what I'm saying? But still, regardless, he went gold. You know, 2 Chainz, gold. You know, we still have people that are going gold, but at the same time, I feel like the internet is just another tool of marketing, and it helps a lot of artists like get off the ground. Because you gotta think about it, when people were trying so hard to get into the music industry, we had certain gatekeepers that aren't existing anymore because of the internet. We got a whole lot of reach arounds. I mean, but at the same time, bad content is still fleshed out, you know. But we moving into a digital era anyway. I feel like even in your car, you got iPod hookups, you got Sirius satellite radio, you got you got cars that got hard drives in them. You know, I think CDs itself, just kind of like how tapes were, are going to a point where they may be obsolete. You know, we went through the record era, we went to the tape era, we went from the 8-track era to the record era, the 45s, then to the 33s, then to the tapes, then to the compact disc. You feel what I'm saying? Now we're probably, I feel like, might be selling jump drives.
Yeah, now just floating files and
you
jump
know what I'm
drives
saying?
You
never know. Shit just kind of all technology always takes life by storm, and we just have to adjust to it.
You still pretty much have 2 quarters remaining. What can we look forward to from V12 in the future?
V12 in the future. I would say, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say where I would be. I would say being a household name more than ever. I would say being a part of a new wave of music. I would say being a staple in a production.
There you have it. If you have anyone that wants to reach you via social media, let them know where they can contact you.
You contact me at V12 The Hitman. A lot of people say the or the. V12 THEHITMAN, Instagram, Twitter, and that's where it starts.
Hip Hop since 1987, El Dorado, V12. Shout out to my man Rick Dane.
Shout out Hip Hop since 1987, niggas. Hip Hop since 1987.com.